Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Let's get going into this next section of Unit 2, Activity 2. So we are going to be reading from slide 22 to 44, and then we're going to complete the recognizing the part of a cover letter, and then finishing that up with the resume and cover letter assignment. So if we look at slide 22 to 44 together, let's pop that open here. So we're looking at building a resume and building a cover letter, which are two key important things to have when we're getting ready to go out into the working world. Some of you may already have a resume from applying to the jobs you have, Swiss Chalet, Montana's, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, wherever that may be. But a professional resume is a little bit different than the resume that you would have used to obtain that job. So, if you've never written a resume, we really need to think of it as an advertisement that sells you to your prospective employer. It is a piece of paper that really shows and highlights your work experience, education, and skills, and really creates an interesting picture that makes the employer go, wow, I really want to hire them for this position that I have open. So, what's in a resume? They contain sections such as your personal information. So, your name, this should be the very first thing an employer sees, your full address of your current place of living, your contact phone number, and a professional looking email address. So, something like john.smith21 at hotmail.com or outlook.com is a lot more professional than fuzzybutt underscore 6922 at gmail.com, right? So that professional email address is crucial. And if you have an email address that is like Mr. Fuzzybutt, make sure that you create a new one when you go to make a resume. And do not use your school email address because that email address you will not carry with you after you graduate. So your education, the name of the school you attend. So where are you going to school right now? If you are a full remote learning student, you can try to explain that or go to which school you would be going to if you were to go to a brick and mortar in-person school. The years completed at each institution. So go back, I wouldn't include elementary school on an adult resume or on a professional resume, just high school. And then you're going to list any diploma certificates you've received, your skills and experience. So experience including the location of different jobs you've had, dates you worked in each position, what you've learned, and how your skills and experience apply to the new job. What's in a resume? Continuing, they also include references. You can state that they are available upon request on the resume. But if you send your references, maybe you're sending in your resume virtually. If you send your references in, do not state that if you're including it with your resume. List people who know you well and can speak to your work ethic and experience. Include their full name, address, phone number. And be sure to ask your references for their permission before you use their name so they know that a potential reference check or phone call may be coming. And your references cannot be a family member. So on this slide here, we have an example of what a reference list should look like. So we have Marissa Marigold, VP of Marketing at Ohio Paint Corporate 555 West Little Creek Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, 555 email address. You can include that Marissa was your supervisor from 2017 to 2021, or up here, you can say Marissa Marigold with a hyphen and then explain supervisor from 27 to 2021. But if we look on this reference list, we can see that Sam was very clear and has their name right up top and their information here to make it obvious to that future potential employer who they are and how to contact them if they're going through their references. It's also good to have your name like that on everything in case for some reason your reference list, your resume, your cover letter gets separated from each other. Some other information that you might want to consider including is your employment objective or job goal, languages you speak, volunteer experience, awards and achievements, and interesting hobbies and activities. So there's three types of resume: chronological, functional, and hybrid, or a combination of the two. A chronological resume outlines your work history in reverse chronological order from the present to the past, highlights the duties performed and the responsibilities you had at each. It's easy to write. It emphasizes steady employment. It's easy for employers to see your work history. It shows some employment gaps, which is one of the disadvantages, and it highlights the duties you performed and the responsibilities at each job. So you need to make sure you include that information. This is best used when career growth and development is happening in the same career area and when names of past employers are significant. So maybe you worked for Google, for example, you probably want to include Google on your resume if you're applying to something in the similar field. So avoid using if you have gaps in your work history, so significant gaps. So maybe you took like 3 years off and you went backpacking, and then you're going back into the working field. I wouldn't use this style of resume. You don't want to call attention to your name. You have changed jobs frequently. Maybe you're a serial job hunter. So not probably the best resume if you're only in a job for 2 or 3 months at a time and you are new to the job market or have a long absence. So chronological resumes is the next setup. So let's just pop this open here. So summary quickly, your professional experience with, it should be this similar amount of bullet points underneath each. So 3, 3, 3, education, relevant skills, all in order chronologically from when it's happened. And then a functional resume, it starts by itemizing the skills you have, used actions, words, and active voice to describe your best features. Advantages is avoid attention to sparse work history. So if you're somebody who's had long periods of absences from the workforce, this would be for you, this style. And it highlights transferable skills and strengths that are often overlooked. Disadvantage does not give work history, may seem to lack depth. Some employers do not like the style at all and may be perceived as hiding age, employment gaps, relevant experience, or lack of career progress or underemployment. This is best used when drawing attention to your transferable skills from volunteer work. If you have little work experience, so if you're somebody right now who has had maybe one part-time job or is trying to get a part-time job, this is the resume for you. And you want to avoid this if you want to emphasize growth and development of skills and responsibility in recent jobs or limited. So if we look at Joe here, once again, you'll see on all these resumes, name, personal information, personal contact information, very, very clear at the top of the resume, a summary, professional accomplishments, work history, and then education. So a hybrid resume or combination of resumes examples is taking those two types and really bringing them together. So summary, summarization of skills, work experience, and education. So we can see the blend of the two types we just looked at here. We can see that they're posting here that they worked at as a senior real estate agent for Lions Real Estate Firm from February 2018 to present day, and that they worked at Fairweather Real Estate Agency from September 2013 to January 2018. But you can see here that underneath their work experience, they have 2 points describing their job, their roles and their jobs there. And this just makes the resume look more balanced, more even, and have a better flow. So tips for writing a resume: make sure you target the job, use keywords relevant to the job you want to connect to. Be concise, keep it to 1 page if possible. Maximum, if you need, is 2 pages. Make sure everything is the same throughout formatting wise. So you want to make sure words are highlighting your skills and accomplishment. White space is important. Do not overfill that page. Tell the truth. Do not embellish on the points. Make it professional. Use clear font, good quality white or off-white paper if you send a hard copy. Send as an attachment in Word or PDF format if you send an electronic copy. Just from experience, most employers like PDF better because it just opens easier on their computers. Proofread. This cannot be emphasized enough. Make sure you're checking for grammar, spelling, errors throughout, or make sure you have somebody who can double check it for you if you're not sure. Also, you are not using I statements anywhere on a resume at all. So we'll come back to this here in a second. Cover letters are important too. They go first before a resume if you're handing in a package. This could be seen as a letter of application. This is your first chance to introduce yourself to identify the job you wish you are applying to. The cover letter should not repeat the information in your resume. It should highlight skills or your accomplishments that are targeted to the job that makes you the most appropriate candidate to fill the job. A cover letter is a business letter written in a professional manner and has 3 sections. An intro paragraph introduces you to the employer, states the reasons for why you're applying, explains why you are interested in the position. Body paragraphs, so look, plural means more than one. That includes these 3 key points here. And another body paragraph that requests an interview from the employer and that thanks them for their time. So see step 3 as a body paragraph, but more of a conclusion or wrap up. For some employers, the cover letter is even more important than your actual resume. This is an insight into your attitude and enthusiasm. I try to say both of those words together. The job, being an employer for this company, an employee for this company, or your personal values. It also gives them a glimpse into your literacy skills, whether you can communicate effectively in writing, which a lot of employers want to be able to see, regardless if you're writing all day or not. Good example of what a good cover letter looks like can be found here. Once again, that name right up at the top. Cover letter, this is another good one. Another good body of a cover letter there. So some tips for writing. The heading with your contact information should be at the top. Doesn't matter. Cover letter, resume, reference letter, or reference list. Header should be your name, location, like name, place of residence, ways to be contacted. Start with a greeting. Write with a professional tone. So once again, really avoiding I statements. If you send the letter electronically, send it as an attachment. Once again, PDF, best way to go. If you send it electronically, list the job for which you're applying to in the subject line of your email. So let's say you're applying to a cashier position at Chapters. In your subject line of your email should say, attention, application for cashier position at Chapters. Remember to sign the letter if you send a hard copy. You type your name, your type name is sufficient if you email it, but if you're sending a hard copy, type out your name and sign above it. Signing is signing, it's not printing. If you send it in the mail, do not fold it. Put the letter in an 8.5 by 11 envelope and be sure you have all the correct postage. So looking at the activities we're going to be focusing on, the first one that will help you move into the next one is recognizing the parts of a cover letter. So this does have an example built into it to help show you where you need to go and what we are looking for. So knowing the parts of a cover letter is important. There are 2, 4, 6, 7 parts. An example of how you're going to answer is here. So down below is a cover letter. You're going to tell me, what is this part here that's underneath? Is it the sender's address, the signature line, the inside address? Write it in there. Same here. Write it into the red blank spot. Once you're done, you're going to hand it in. But this is to ensure that you understand the flow of how a cover letter should look and what I am looking for when you write your own cover letter. Look at me doing this is me correcting grammar. There we go. All right. So that's your first step. Once you complete that, you're going to go into resume and cover letter writing. So you're going to select a job opportunity from this list below, and you're going to develop a functional or hybrid resume. Use the slides to help you if you're not sure what that format looks like. and create a cover letter that effectively brings together your abilities and strengths to outline your resume for the job. So there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 different jobs you can pick from. Pick the one that you would most likely want to go into, the one that you think is the most interesting for you if you didn't have to go to school and you could go to work. If you need help at all or would like some bump ups or check ins about a resume or your cover letter, please reach out, and I'm happy to help you do that. Do not be scared by this. And this isn't due until we return after Thanksgiving.